sure you shoot the first with a one tap and then switch to the next one, and you can get both kills really easily. Next, I'm going to talk about movement in CSGO. Press AD back and forth just to show your shoulder to them. It'll make them shoot because they think you're swinging the angle. It's a hard skill to master, but with a bit of practice you can get it. Hey guys, this is How To with Gratisfaction, and today I'm going to show you some CSGO basics. So today I'm going to be teaching you about crosshair placement. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about crosshair placement and know quite a bit about it, but I'm going to explain why it's important and why you need it to play good CS basically. So with crosshair placement, it's basically about keeping your crosshair as close to head level as possible and as close to the corners that you're clearing as possible. So let's say you're coming around this corner here and you want to clear out sandbags. You want to keep your crosshair as close as possible to it so that when you see the head you can just instantly click and you don't have to move your crosshair, and you're basically more guaranteed to get a kill on someone who's holding a line on you if you have good crosshair placement. The next thing I'm going to talk about is firing types in CSGO. So there's three types. There's tapping, there's burst firing, and there's spraying. I think the best one overall is probably bursting, but it kind of depends on which situation you're in. Tapping's only really useful if you're super far away or you're super close and you're flanking people and you want to make sure that you get the first kill guaranteed, and then you can switch to the next one straight away. I'll give another example of that. So let's say you were flanking these two guys and then you see them both not looking away. Make sure you shoot the first with a one tap and then switch to the next one, and you can get both kills really easily. More likely to get a multi-kill instead of just getting one by spraying and then not being able to transfer the spray. For burst, that's mostly for mid to long range fights, and that'd be if you peek the corner and you have good aim and you've got your crosshair placement, so you're already aiming around their head, and then you send out a little burst and you know that one of the bullets going to hit their head. That's the best time to burst basically. It's it's your best chance of getting a headshot, because in CSGO there's a thing called range accuracy where your bullets might not go straight even if you're aiming at their head from a distance. So sometimes tapping at long range isn't always a guaranteed kill. So you want to go for the burst so that you have the best chance of getting that kill. And then there's spraying. And spraying is basically if there's multiple enemies in front of you and they're all shooting at you, or there's multiple enemies swinging on you and you basically are forced to spray because you don't have time to one tap. Basically like this, you just spraying. And the thing with spraying is that you have to control the recoil. So every gun has its own recoil pattern. The AK is like this, so you basically do the opposite of that in order to control the spray and make sure it goes straight. Like that. That's basically the three types of firing and what kind of situations you would need to use them in. Next, I'm going to talk about movement in CSGO, which is pretty important, not only just for getting around the map, but also for peeking enemies. There's different ways to peek enemies, and some are more effective in different situations. Let's talk about shimmy peeking to start with, or shoulder peeking, as it's referred to. If there's an AWP on a line, then sometimes you want to shimmy peek to bait out a shot, so you can press AD back and forth just to show your shoulder to them. And a lot of the times with AWPers, especially in low level play, it'll make them shoot because they think you're swinging the angle when you aren't. And then you have a chance to swing out after that and potentially get a kill on them or one of their teammates that they were covering. So that's mostly what shoulder peeking is for. Even sometimes you can bait out riflers shooting by shoulder peeking, and then once they start firing and their recoil goes bad, you can swing and get a kill. The next thing we'll talk about is ADing, which is pretty much the same thing. It's just in a fight, moving left and right and shooting when your speed reaches 0 basically. It makes it so that you're harder to hit as an opponent, but then your aim's still not, your recoil's still good. So you can get kills kind of while moving, and it's annoying for enemies to face, that's for sure. Next we'll talk about bunny hopping, which is just basically getting around the map faster than you could usually get around the map. Because of the way the game works, when you jump and you consecutively jump, it makes you go faster than when you're just running. So if you want to get from the A bomb site to the B bomb site as a CT, and there's no enemies in your path, then you can try to B hop your way there, and you might, cut off 2 seconds or something, and then potentially get a kill that you wouldn't have gotten if you weren't bunny hopping. It's a hard skill to master, but with a bit of practice you can get it. That's bunny hopping right there. It's pretty sweet. The next thing we'll talk about is strafe jumping, and that's basically it's just a way to long jump in CSGO to reach positions that you can't usually reach if you just do a straightforward jump. There's a good example of it right here in Inferno, where you can jump from these barrels to the top of this wall. And the way you do it is you kind of like come into it sideways and then just, yeah, it's like you're pressing A or D depending on what way you're jumping into the angle. And it gives you a little bit of extra speed because of your exiting velocity when you jump off the ground. Allows you to go a little further and allows you to jump up onto walls like that, which otherwise you would have to boost onto, or they're inaccessible. So that's basically strafe jumping. Okay guys, that was how to with Gratisfaction. Check out some more videos on our YouTube, and thanks for watching. Perfect. Sweet.